Scamsters on the lookout for easy ways to mint money have now found a new low-cost, high-return avenue: sextortion. Cases of sextortion are being reported with amazing regularity. A 46-year-old man from Dadar lodged a police complaint saying a scamster posing as CBI official extorted Rs 65,000 from him. This after a woman made a nude video call to him and took screenshots of the video conversation, threatening to expose him. Similarly, two residents of Ambala reported to have lost lakhs of rupees to a gang after they separately got nude video calls from women. The women allegedly recorded the video with the targeted men in the frame and then threatened to make that video go viral. Soon after, the men would get calls from different people of the gang claiming to be police officials, seeking bribe to end the case that was apparently registered against them. Some others would call with help to get the videos deleted from social media sites and demand fee for the services. In Punjab's Ludhiana, a woman Instagram influencer has been arrested for allegedly luring men with her obscene photos and videos and then blackmailing them after recording them on video. This lady was linked to a gangster who would threaten the targets who refused to pay. The Delhi police in March arrested 3 members of a gang that specially targeted men who had registered themselves on dating sites. The gang would screen record the men after making explicit video calls through WhatsApp. A trail of at least Rs 40 lakh extorted from about 20 men from all across India has been established in this case. It's an organized racket, and by some accounts, the Mewat region that straddles Haryana, Rajasthan and Delhi is its epicenter. There are separate groups of people indulging in various aspects of the racket, and each one gets a share of the extortion money. There are gangs that have girls who make the first contact with victims and look for vulnerable people who could become easy targets. There is a second group that makes the actual nude video calls and screen records the victim. The videos of the recorded nude calls that have the victim's face too are passed on to a third group that makes the actual extortion calls. The account numbers where the money is deposited could belong to another gang that takes a hefty cut from the extortion amount. The fact that so many different groups are involved in the racket makes it extremely difficult for the police to nab the offenders. When people are caught, they don't have much information on the working of the other parts of the racket, so the probe stops right there. Now, let us look at the modus operandi of the entire extortion racket. Normally, a woman would contact the victim on WhatsApp asking for a romantic video call. She could even contact the victim pretending to be from a dating service looking for a relationship. Once the victim falls into the trap and receives the video call, the woman on the other end would be in nude. Regardless of whether the victim actively participates in the nude call or hangs up after a few seconds, his video has been recorded. As soon as this call ends, the victim usually receives a call saying unless he pays up, his recorded video will be made public. Now, many victims pay up readily, hoping to put the controversy behind them. But that isn't the end of the matter. Few days later, someone from the same gang will call posing as a police officer, saying a case has been registered over the nude video. He too will demand bribe money and may also suggest the name of a third person who will be someone claiming to be a cybersecurity expert and will promise to erase the said nude video in exchange for a hefty fee. The ordeal will end only when the gang moves on to some other target. Also, it is not just men or boys that are targeted. Women also become victims. But because men can possibly be more easily lured into accepting an explicit call, they are targeted more. Sextortion is not something that is prevalent only in India. It's a worldwide phenomenon, although in most modern countries, minors are the most vulnerable targets. Scamsters first entice the victims to send personal explicit photos and videos on pretext of relationship. Thereafter, they force the minors to share more explicit material or sometimes ask for money. How prevalent is the crime worldwide is not exactly known, as it is assumed that for every case reported, there are dozens of cases that go unreported. In the US, the FBI said there had been more than 7,000 reports of sextortion in 2022, and over 3,000 victims were teenagers and young boys. Boys between the age of 14 and 17 are generally targeted, but children as young as 10 too end up becoming victims. In Canada, data shows that police-reported extortion cases rose by nearly 300% in the last decade, but the crime significantly spiked during the pandemic. In India, while statistics on online sextortion scams are not available, 52,974 cybercrimes were reported in the year 2021, according to the National Crime Records Bureau, up from 44,735 cases in 2019. Most of these involved online fraud, online harassment, and publication of explicit content. Now, the most important question: how can we stay safe? Well, apart from the usual precautions that we take for online safety, one should be wary of picking WhatsApp calls from strangers. Also, it is extremely risky to accept romantic proposals from anyone who claims to have got your contact on dating or matrimonial sites. Secondly, never give in to extortion demands. While the extortionists may threaten to send the police after you, those calling you posing as cops are merely imposters. Also, remember, you have not shared the explicit content, so legally you haven't committed a crime. The scamsters would then threaten to expose you to your family or friends. But the best course for you is to yourself share this information with your family and say that you fell in the trap. And thirdly, report the matter to the police and hand over your call records, etc. If possible, record the phone calls made by the scamsters and hand over the recordings to the police. This is something that may help in the investigations. Lastly, do remember that prevention is better than cure, so never fall into the trap of easy money, love, or sex. That's all for now. Keep watching Times of India.